Okay, so today we're going to be making our Yayoi Kusama pumpkins. And when we do this, you're going to have a large, big, rectangular piece of paper. And we're going to start making our pumpkin shape. So what I recommend is just using our black crayon. You could do just a dot above at the top of your paper and a dot at the bottom in the middle of your paper. Once you have that done, what we're going to do is we're going to connect them. So you're going to do a curve and connect one side. And then you curve and connect the other side, like that. So it's the start of our pumpkin. Then we're going to keep adding more layers. So what I do is I just go a little bit lower and I do a nice big curve and meet that bottom dot. And you do it again on the other side. And pumpkins are not all uniform and the same, so don't worry if they don't look exactly the same, but we're going to repeat this pattern. So we're going to go a little lower. You can make it fatter if you want and curve under so it's not as skinny. And maybe I'm going to do one more for my pumpkin. So it's a really wide, big pumpkin. There we go. So once you have your pumpkin shape created, what we're going to do next is we're going to look at the patterns that she did with her pumpkins. And she loved dots, as you know, and as we were studying. So it's easier to start in one. And what I can do is I'm going to do in my circles. And what you could do is you could start by doing them big, and again, they don't have to be perfect. And I can go back and fill these in. But to make it easier on myself, I might start with the other little set that she had. So she kind of had some of these dots, different sizes. She repeated in a pattern. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill these in. Okay, so you want to keep building and adding more just like hers. Alright, after you've got this done, what you're going to do is you're going to bubble cut it out. So you're going to cut around the outside of your pumpkin shape and try to get it as best as you can. You want to leave some of those nice pretty black lines. It adds to that really cool shape. And notice that I'm turning my paper to help me. If you ever find you have too much, just cut off that strip of paper that you have. There we go. So now I have my pumpkin shape, and on the back of it, you want to write your name and your teacher code. Okay? So name and your teacher code. This way I know whose this belongs to. Okay? Alright. After you've done this, what we're going to work on is our shading. Alright, so how do we shade? You're going to use the same crayon, and we're going to think about where our shading goes. So very lightly, I'm just going to add in some shading of my lines, of where it kind of curves follow that nice curved line. I can put my crayon on its side and make that really cool shading. So I'm going to do that for these lines over here. And I'm pushing lightly. I don't want to overdo it, but I want to make a really neat shadow effect on these curves. It doesn't have to be perfect. It could be thick or thin. I'm going to do a little bit more on this whole one and might give a good shadow. Like that. Now on this side, I might just do a tiny bit. Not much, because it's really, the light source is coming in that way. But I just wanted to give it a little bit of something so it just stands out and these lines are just a little thicker, kind of help show that it's curved and more three-dimensional, like that. Okay, after you've done your shading, what we're going to do next is add on, you're going to have a stem that you're going to cut out your own stem, and you're going to use the white oil pastel. And what you're going to do is you're just going to draw some cool stem lines, and then what we'll end up doing is you're just going to glue it with the glue stick right behind it, and that's the end of our project.